If you wanted to know how to change the main spring on a BQ, it's fairly similar to the way you would change a spring on a BM, and there's another video that shows it more in detail on changing the spring of a Haag-Streit slit lamp, but it's a BM. This is a BQ, and the BQ is different because it's got some added extra springs in here because there's going to be more weight on everything, and so they have some added springs on here. So if you're going to be changing the mainspring, you might want to, well, you should go ahead and lock those helper springs. There's 3 springs. Lock those down by sticking a screwdriver and finding the screw and pushing down and screwing all the way down so that those springs are collapsed, and so they're not going to affect you pulling off this carrier. And I've already done that on this. I've already taken the spring out, and I'm just going to wanted to show you what it's like underneath in case you were curious. This is the BQ, and this is how you would access these springs. And if you were to pull your carrier off and you didn't collapse these springs, well, you're going to get a lot more spring action. I'm just going to show you with one. They're smaller springs, but they can scare you if you're pulling up and all of a sudden springs start going everywhere. So, and they are removable. And this is the screw that you're going to see. If the spring is released, you're going to see the screw on the top of the carrier. So when you look down there, when it's in place, and you can see the screw up, that means that spring has been released, and it's going to help you. So when you're looking down at your carrier, if you happen to see the screw heads, it's because your springs have been released. And depending on how old the slit lamp is and how long it's been used and how much weight is on it, your mainspring is going to be weak, and it's possible that someone has already released these helper springs to make the ease of access up and down equal. So I've taken this spring off and measured it, and it's a little different. Here's a new one, and I'm putting them both equal. I'm going to show you how much difference a new spring and an old spring. So over the years, and this BQ is about almost 30 years old. So it's been around a while, and it's carried a lot of weight, and that main spring has gotten weaker. And so anyway, we're going to refurbish this almost 30-year-old BQ, and we're going to put a nice fresh spring in it. It's the same spring that you'd put in a BM, because if you didn't know this, the difference between these two bases are this heavy-duty carrier that's on the BQ. That's one of the differences. But if you were to take these 4 screws out and pull this whole carrier out, then you would have a base that's the same as a BM. So the thing that makes this a BQ is you have a larger carrier that's got the 3 extra springs for the added weight. Then you have a microscope arm that's longer to accommodate for the added distance of your mag changer and your binocular head. So those things make up, those 3 things make up the difference between a BM and a BQ. Now the tower's going to be the same. So that's the way Haag-Streit chose to do it. The only difference between a BM and a BQ is the carrier, the microscope arm, and the optics, and the price. So just wanted to show you that. It's the same procedure of the BM, putting your spring in and making sure you push down all the way after you put your screw back in, your spindle, you've lined it up, and you have to go all the way down to reseat these bearings back into here. So make sure you check out that other video to see a more detailed explanation on how to do it.